Hi, I'm Karen, the host of Ignite Your Confidence. I am on a mission to equip women with tools to find their voice and lead with confidence, and most importantly, stand out. It took me too long to find mine due to self-doubt and fear of what other people think. I want to help women get there sooner than later, and the ultimate goal is so that you can be free. Our next speaker is Christine Hansen. She is a sleep expert for CEOs, high achievers, and miserable insomniacs who want to sleep but can't. Having built a successful online business herself, Christine found out the hard way, such as after tons of investments, moon dances, and ruined put your laptop away vacations, that you have to first do the groundwork and figure out who you are, and then work strategically while staying in integrity with your values. One fun fact about Christine is that she loves money. The first question that I asked her that you can listen to next is, what was the turning point when you realized that you'd found your voice? Let's hear from Christine.
Oh, I think it was, I don't think I can precisely say it, but I've been doing a lot of personal development, and I had one coach that I worked with, who I still worked with now on a regular basis, Relinde Moos. And she helped me to really shift first of all, figure out some of my old beliefs in terms of I'm not good enough. I always felt that I was really stupid. And she really helped me to find those beliefs and kind of switch them around, or just acknowledge that they're not true. And the more I did that, the more I realized that I could just talk and say my mind without even worrying what people would be saying. And so I realized that my social media messaging, especially my Instagram posts, I became really confident with the pictures that I would post. And you can see that in my feed. I think that was parallel. It was all at the same time. And I don't believe in coincidences, but it was all at the same time that this happened. And a very good friend of mine who's a photographer has started to do photo shoots with me regularly to be her model. And so all of this happened at the same time. And you can really see how the portraits, I really start to feel very confident in them. And the text reflects that. It's just my opinion, and me not being afraid to say so, not even caring who would read it or what would happen, because I knew that it came from a place from integrity. So it would be, time date wise, it would be probably fall 2019, where I would be really, really confident, but it's been working up to that, I would say.
Wow.
Or maybe 2018, and then 2018, 2019 was a huge year. But you can really see it, like, especially if you go to my Instagram feed, you can really see how it became more polished, how it became more purpose driven, how you can really see my voice.
That's amazing. Well, there's a lot of people that are in the place where you were. What would you say to those women who are feeling insecure, feeling like you were before?
The first thing I would tell everyone is to just be gentle with yourself and know that even though it sucks, it's normal. Unfortunately, not saying that it should be that way, but we just have to, acknowledge that we were all brought up by parents who were just brought up in a different time as well, where it was just a little bit more patriarchal. And even if they tried their best, we just have those comments still in our heads, unfortunately for women more so than for men, that we are sometimes not as good in different elements as in others. And so I think one is just to not be angry or bitter about that, but to be forgiving about that, to understand where people come from, and to also be then gentle on ourselves, because we didn't know. You don't know what you don't know. So that would really be the first thing, is to be kind to yourself. And the second thing would really be to don't think that but it's very hard to do it on your own. And I've really seen it over and over and over again, that you have so many blind spots that you need someone you trust and you can connect with to help you to change it. Like, you need to be ready. You need to be feeling that you want to change it, that there's something that about you that's not you. And when I work with my clients, I feel they are similar to when you have a sculptor. He sees the block and he already sees the person or the statue underneath, and then chips away at whatever was plastered on top. And I think it's the same with people. with everything we've learned over the years, you just gently chip away on it until your true you comes to the surface. And whatever that is, it's good. Whatever it is, it's beautiful and it's amazing. So don't be afraid of chipping away on that block.
That is beautiful. Well, and what does it feel like now when you are aligned with yourself completely in the inside and the outside? And just tell us about that feeling compared to what it was like before.
It's the best feeling in the world. It's a work in progress still, but the difference between now and then is that I realize when I go and I bullshit myself, basically, and it's really easy for me to call myself out, even though the voices are still very real, but now I can just tell them, look, I know you're there, but I also know you're not valid. So let's work through that crap. But my life is just... it's completely different. It's easier. It's more peaceful. I'm a lot calmer. And I also have to say that everything has fallen into place easily. Success in my career, in my love life, in my personal life. And I know that it is because I've just started to live my life, to communicate what was okay for me, what wasn't okay for me, and to just not accept things that I knew weren't in integrity with me. In the beginning, of course, it's a little bit more difficult, but as you reap the benefits of that work, as everything starts to flow effortlessly, and once you accept that effortless is okay, and that it's not that you are a flake or that you are lazy or anything, you just understand that once you are living your passion, your core, you have arrived in a way that your life, that's what you're meant to do. That's how you're supposed to live. We're here not to be miserable, but we're here to be happy in the end,
Yeah. You mentioned something a minute ago that reminded me of the importance of boundaries. What is okay, what isn't okay. Can you speak to that in your life?
Yes, I think that we, especially as women, we are a little bit trained to be people pleasers. It's just like you don't want to be disagreeable to someone, you don't want to be a burden. And in the end, of course, don't be mean. Like, don't go and make someone else's life miserable on purpose. But it is absolutely okay to put yourself first. And I think one of the sayings that I love the most is that nobody is living your life but yourself. And you only have one. So yes, people will judge you depending on your decisions. Yes, people will not understand. But in the end, they are not you. They do not wake up in your shoes every day. They don't go to sleep with your thoughts every night. So it's really important, I find, to evaluate what you can compromise on and what you really can't. And sometimes I can come across as a little bit harsh, but I inherently know that I don't like something and I just go like, no. And sometimes people are taking aback from that and they're like, wow. And it's like, why would I even start discussions if I already know what I know? That's just some things, that's just my boundary. No. We can see and find a compromise, but I'm open to your suggestions, but just know that it's highly unlikely. Whereas with other experiences, I'm very open-minded still, but I do absolutely believe that in your core where you are willing to be open-minded and to compromise and where you are not. And don't ever go against that gut feeling, because I never had an experience where it panned out positively. Whenever I went against my gut feeling, it would turn out into nightmare clients or just a project that wouldn't work out or difficulties along the road. So really, really trust that gut feeling. You've been given that gut feeling for a reason.
Love it. How about thinking about mistakes that you have made? Like you said before, you're totally honest. I love that about you. So tell us something where there was like you totally messed up.
Oh.
Then you recovered and now you can look back and see what you learned from it.
There's so many things. Oh my God, there's so many things. I think there's different categories really. There's things where I invested financially, but also partly due to when I was a beginner or a newbie, I had no idea how marketing worked or sales copy worked. equally on me. So I was sold a lot and invested a lot in things that I shouldn't have. So that's one, but also on, I think a lot of things were communication, where I was too shy maybe, or too timid of actually going with my gut feeling. And a big one is with my team. When I had the idea to first get a team for Sleep Like a Boss, my first company, to get a team to take over my clients, I just wanted to make money basically by helping people to do what I do as a sleep coach, and explain them my method, teach them, and then let them completely go. And it was only later that I realized that actually I wanted to be more like a franchise model, and where I would continuously also give input. Obviously, there would be a lot of there would be continuous education, there would be monthly calls. I would drive all the traffic from Sleep Like a Boss to my team. It would just be a different concept. But it was hard for me to communicate, because I was doing this at a mentorship retreat in Bali with these people, and I literally decided 2 weeks before that. So it was really difficult to communicate that. And I think I could have done that more elegantly, so we changed it with a contract and everything, but it was tough also emotionally on me, because obviously it was not a comfortable place to be in. So I think that's still something where even now, I sometimes hesitate, where I know in my gut that I need to change something, or where the way that I'm going with a client might not be right. And so that, in terms of communication, I still tend to sometimes just squirrel myself away rather than face it head on. Those are things where, yeah, that's definitely a big one. But in the end, I never see this as a failure. Like, it's always a lesson learned. And yeah, there's so many more. I really have to make a list at some point, but it's always coming down to the same thing though, where I didn't act as soon as I knew what I wanted to do. And I'm learning, so now I'm much more like that. I'm much more direct. I'm also not afraid to let people go. Also as clients, like if I know it's a nightmare client, I don't mind even if my policy says it doesn't give a refund, to give a refund. If I just feel it's going to let those links, that's connection go, so that we can both be in peace, then so be it. I don't need every $1,000, it's like, I don't mind letting that money go. So it's beautiful that I am in that position. But you should be. If you're in a business, you should be in a position where at any time you can just refund a few thousand without worrying.
Right. Well, I think that's such a good point about what the pain is that you're going to have later. I mean, I think about when I first started my business, I told myself I never want to need clients. And that was more from a mindset perspective of being, that feeling of, oh, I have to have this person because I need to make rent or whatever it is.
No.
And I just think that's a great point, what you said, and that gut feeling is so, so important. Well, a random question I'd love to hear from you. If you could go to dinner with anyone, living or dead, famous person, who would that be and why?
Oh my God, that's a tough question. I think it would probably be, I'm thinking man or woman. I think I'd be drawn to a woman who, and I'm just trying to figure this out in my head, but who was kind and yet super glam and boss in her own way. And, from an image wise, it would be a type like a Lauren Bacall kind of type. If you don't know who she is, you should watch The Big Sleep. It's one of my favorite movies ever. Kind of like these femme fatale kind of people. I don't know what she was like in her real life, though, so probably not. But it would be a person like that who had her values and stuck to it. Right now, it would probably be someone like Anna Wintour. I really like her and watch her masterclass, and she seems like a type of leader I would love to talk to and hang.
Love it. Love it. Thank you. Last question before we get to the lightning round. Tell us about a time when you didn't speak up. If you have a specific example, it'd be great. You wish that you had.
I do have a specific example, and I still suffer from it in a way, and I still can't speak up about it. And I'm going to tell you why. So There's a program that's called Mind Valley. I don't know if you know it, but it's basically a coaching program. It's a huge community network. And there was one person who was introduced, and because it is so notorious, I signed up with that person for a coaching program, and I paid $8,000 for 8 weeks for Facebook ads. And after a while, I found out that, well, first of all, I was really disappointed in what was delivered. But then I found out that a friend of mine signed up for a group program with the same person where they got exactly the same, but it was less than 1,000 for 3 months. And we're both in Europe. So it was just random that we've got to know each other and that we got to see that we worked with the same person. And we just had a phone call and we figured all of this out. So in order for me to get my refund back, or half of my refund back, I had to sign a non-disclosure agreement. And today I would literally say, whatever, I'm not going to sign this, but I'm going to speak out to your business practices. I don't care about the money. But at the time, I wasn't that far yet. So I signed the agreement. And so I can't say who it was with. But that is something that still pisses me off. And I also have to say it traumatized me because for a long time, I really sabotaged myself into not charging high ticket prices because I had made these experiences with more than one person and was kind of thinking subconsciously that if you charge that much, it equalizes that your personality is like this, which it's not. But it really traumatized me without me understanding, and it kept me from up leveling in my business for a long time. So that's definitely one where I'm like, today I would say you can keep your money, but I'm not going to keep my mouth shut.
Wow. Wow. Thank you for sharing that. That's powerful. That's powerful. Good, great example. Well, let's get to the lightning round. So I'm just going to throw out a few questions here. What is your guilty pleasure or pleasure on Netflix or other shows that you might be watching?
I watch Netflix all day long, pretty much. I've always watched a lot of TV, always, as a child, as a teenager, as a young adult, and now as a mid-seasoned adult. Guilty pleasures are definitely Queer Eye or cooking shows or gardening shows on there, like these competition shows, you name it, whatever the competition is, interior designing. Those are things that help me to just switch off. I love them.
Love it. How about who was your first concert with, or who did you see?
My first concert, I believe that was Michael Jackson back in the 90s in Luxembourg. And it was with my sister and her boyfriend.
How about your favorite quote or mantra?
Shoot for the moon. Even if you don't reach it, you're going to end up amongst the stars.
Favorite travel destination?
So many. I live for traveling. I do have to say, a place that I cannot wait to go back to is Bali.
So much I want to comment on that, but that's one of my dream places. I have to keep my mouth shut. It's hard not to. Okay, where was your first kiss?
Oh God. A real kiss, or like a kiss where I didn't really know what the kiss was, like a real kiss, boyfriend.
Let's go
kiss.
with it. Yeah, when you didn't.
It was, I do believe, most likely actually. So you need to know that my parents' house was just opposite my high school. Like literally, it was the house, street, school, and I do believe it was still on school terrain, but my mom could totally see it, and I was 13 maybe, and yeah, it was not a good guy in air quotes. So yeah, that was my first kiss, and there was a whole story afterwards, but yes.
Okay, what's an item that you always keep in your purse?
That's a funny one. I do have a certain crystal that is in my purse, and the reason is that I sometimes, not always, but when I feel like it, I have geometrical grids, and I place crystals on them to help me manifest or just get energy, and depending, and I lost one of the crystals, and I thought it was one of my cats who probably just hid it somewhere, and I don't know how, but it turned up in my wallet. And after months, so I had it with me all the time. And so I have this connection with this little crystal, and it's always in my wallet. I never took it out. I was like, okay, you belong there. You want to be there. Fine. So yeah.
Aw, love it. Last one is, what is the last book that you read?
Let me think. It was by Joe Dispenza, and I recommend this to everyone. Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. Such a good book.
Ooh, great title. Well, thank you, Christine, for being here. This is so fun. I could talk to you forever. So tell us where we can reach you for those people that want to connect.
The easiest thing is if you go to my website, christinemeansbusiness.com. From there, you will find all the links to my social media channels, and you can just shoot me an email through there. Feel free to stalk me on every social media platform. I'd be happy to be stalked, and reach out if you have any questions. I'm always open to have a discussion or to just give quick tips.
Wasn't that amazing? I handpicked each of these people so that you can be inspired to find your voice, lead with confidence, and stand out. This is Karen, your host of Ignite Your Confidence.